Happy Taco Tuesday, everyone. You know the day of the week it is. My tacos today are from a local place. It's new. It's called Capital Tacos. The place was referred to by my friend Alex, and they're off University in Goldenrod. And the tacos I got, it's a SoCal Tex-Mex fusion. So they are not authentic, but you know I'm a fan of creative tacos. So I got a big kahuna, which is battered fried fish. And there you have queso, you have some corn salsa, and a lime wedge. And the cool thing is it comes in I love the aluminum foil, and it comes in this little plate, and it's hearty. And the other one I got was a fried avocado taco, and again, very hearty, comes on this plate, and you see that it has fried avocado, some lettuce, tomato, some queso, and it has something else in there. And I am gonna take a bite out of those in a moment, but content. So we have entered the season of Easter. This Sunday is Palm Sunday, followed by Good Friday, and then Easter Sunday. And I also like to call this season the ultimate sacrifice. And I like this season because it gives me an opportunity to share with you about a little bit about me, like my background, and it'll give you more perspective about where I come from, who I am. And when you see me, because I know a lot of people see me and I have some differences, and then they question some other things. And when I tell them my journey and my testimony, then they kind of piece things together. They're like, oh, okay. So I want to share with you a little bit of my testimony. So let's start off 1984. It's the year Gremlins came out. Yes, I am that old. Gremlins was coming out in the theaters, and my mom was taking me to go see Gremlins. And so she got me dressed first, put me on the couch, and she went to shower and get dressed. And my mom was a smoker, and she left her matches and cigarettes by the couch. And so I began to play with them. And one of the matches fell on my dress. And because it was hot, the dress was a red and white, polyester summer dress. It caught on fire really quickly, and I could not put out the flames. And I remember walking to my mom's room engulfed in flames and saying, Mommy, help me. And my mom tried so hard, God bless her heart, tried so hard to put out the flames, but she couldn't. She grabbed me, she threw me in the shower, turned on the water, and that's how she was able to turn off the flames. And it was a little too late. The dress had completely burnt into my skin, and I was burnt from my chest down, my thighs, my back. It was really bad. And she took me and ran out in the middle of the street. She stopped someone, and that kind person took me to the hospital. And I remember being handed off to a fireman, and I remember that because of his suspenders, right? And this fireman ran through the hallway into the emergency room, and that was it. That's all I remember. The next thing I remember was waking up, and I was in the burn unit at the hospital. I stood there for quite a long time, and I was completely covered and wrapped in bandages, and it was just such a horrible accident. And so that was the first part of that's the first part of my journey, of my testimony. We're gonna forward into 1995. I am a high school sophomore and very active, loved high school. The 90s was a great year, great time, right? And I remember my arm began to ache and hurt. And I went into the emergency room. They didn't find anything, kind of misdiagnosed me with something else and sent me home. A couple of months later, there was like a mass protruding from my left arm, and it began to really hurt. And so they went in, they did some x-rays, and they did find a mass. They right away wanted to do a biopsy. And sure enough, when I woke up from that biopsy, I remember asking the doctor, was it cancer? And yes, it was cancer. I got diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. Ewing sarcoma is a bone cancer. And when I woke up, I was already on chemotherapy. And they kept me on like really intensive chemo for 2 straight weeks. And after those 2 weeks, they were able to look at my arm. They shrunk the tumor, it was gone. And then they saw that the tumor had completely eaten my humerus bone. So then I was put on a donor list so I can receive a cadaver bone, because that was the only way they were going to save my arm. They were first going to amputate it. That was the first option. Again, technology wasn't there, 1995. But they wanted to amputate it, but they were going to try like one last thing to see if they can save it, and that was using a cadaver bone. And a couple of months later, I did receive a cadaver bone, and I, by the grace of God, was able to keep my arm, and they replaced my humerus, and I did lose my rotator cuff, and but there are 2 metal rods holding that cadaver bone in place. Don't have a rotator cuff. I have a bunch of screws here, bunch of screws down by my elbow. I am able to use my hand and my fingers normally, but that when you see me in person, that is, one of the things that people look at right away. And then of course, I continued on and did 2 more years of chemotherapy. And I remember graduating high school, bald-headed. And but my porta catheter scar is a little bit more thicker than others because it got infected, so it would open up. And so that is my porta catheter scar. So I want to share this with you guys because, number one, when you see me in person and you see me at a conference or an event, it's okay to ask. It's okay. I'm very, I love to share my testimony, and I'm very open about my journey. And I also, during the season of Easter, just want to share that is one of the reasons why my faith is so important to me, why I am a follower of Christ. I know I'm here for just a wonderful, great purpose. And my grandmother, God rest her soul, and now my mother, God rest her soul, they did an amazing job. They did an amazing job during these 2 just super dark times in my first 2 decades. They took care of me. They instilled faith and positivity. They loved me so much. And I know by God's grace and healing that I'm here and able to do Taco Tuesday for you guys. But happy Taco Tuesday, everyone. Always sending light and positivity to all. This too shall pass. I am going to do the big kahuna. I'm sorry that my message took a little long, but you guys, eat your taco, folks. Bye. I don't like that.